Welcome back to Women in Business, where I'm chatting to Yael Geffen. Yael, now you've mentioned your dad over and over again, and you've said he was trying to lure you. Why is it that what quality is it about you that he saw that he thought you would be successful in this business?
I think my dad and I share a lot of the same qualities.
Oh, really?
He often says, "You see, you think like me." He's an advertising guru himself, and we brainstorm together here a lot, and you often hear a lot of laughter coming out of this office. But he likes to think of me as a visionary.
Okay.
And he tells me I have this quality called perspicacity. And I had to look it up in the dictionary.
I was going to say, what does that mean?
Basically, it means that you cut through the clutter, and when people are saying a lot of things and a lot of fluff, you get right through the BS, so to speak, to find that one thing that they're talking about.
Okay.
So he sees me as a visionary, and that's why he wanted me with him by his side.
Yeah. What is it about the property industry that drives you?
I think it's dynamic. I think it's always changing. And what I really like is beyond just properties that are exquisite, which we deal with on a daily basis. I mean, once you have the Sotheby's International Realty brand, you're dealing with the most luxurious properties in the world. I like what's beyond the brick and mortar, and that is when you're dealing with someone's home, you're dealing with memories. You know, when you look at the home that you grew up with, how many memories were in that house? And when you move from house to house, you travel with those memories. And when people give you, when sellers give you their house, they're entrusting you with all those memories, their treasured possessions, their relationships. And I find that bond a very unique and special bond.
Yeah. How exactly do you go and identify a property and say we can sell that?
Well, our property consultants are very well trained. You know, there's the techniques that my mother trains them. I'm not going to tell you them because I'd be imparting very secret knowledge and information, but there's special techniques that she trains them on, and they're very well qualified. They termed as qualified sellers. And once they identify these qualified sellers, they know what to look for.
Now, prior to all of this, you were a brand manager of Sotheby. What was that like for you? I can just imagine you shining in it, though.
Well, thank you. I'll take you out for coffee after. In terms of the brand manager position, I had to make sure across the country that the brand on all levels was consistent in all communications, so external and internal. So whether it was signage, below-the-line advertising, fonts, etc., it maintained the consistency from each office to office, the office look and feel, etc. When you've got such a big brand with so many offices, so many locations, you have to make sure that everything looks and feels the same. And beyond that, we have a publication called Inner Poise, which is a magazine that I write for, and I'm the editor, and I'm very proud of it. And that goes through to all the offices, and I was the editor for that. I still do that because it's very important to keep that communication going with the whole network.
Yeah. Is it very important to be of a certain personality to be in this kind of industry? Because you must love change, you must have structure, you must be able to bring things to alignment. Is it important to have those kind of attributes?
Absolutely. I think you have to be, first and foremost, a humanist of sorts. Understand people, understand to be very philosophical, very understanding, and an extrovert, so to speak, because you need to be outgoing, you need to be a networker, and also very strategic. You know, we are expanding our footprint in a very big way this year, so I need to understand strategically what to do with our brand this year. I also work with my father behind his desk every single day, and I'm understanding the core nature of our business and learning from the chairman himself in terms of what to do. So he's very strategic, and I need to share his vision.
When you talk about expanding for this year, what are the plans for Sotheby International?
We want to almost double our footprint this year, so it's a very big year for us. So we've got roughly about 50 offices all around the country. So it's expanding it to about 100. And it's strategically targeting focused areas throughout the country to see exactly where we need to be, in what specific areas, and how to get there.
Let's go back to what it was like growing up in terms of a property tycoon kind of family.
Basically, it was pass the salt. Oh, do you know we did a deal in Sandhurst today? It was basically as I describe. I have footage of my little sister being rocked by my father, and he's going, "How many deals have you done today? How many deals have you done today?" And it was exactly
it's in
like
your bloodstream.
that. Yes,
you weren't going to escape it.
My brother Lew Geffen is the founder of Mortgage SA, and which has now become Uber. So it's in our blood. My grandmother, my parents. My brother, Barack Geffen, was the key marketing person for Sotheby's International Realty. So it's all of us.
Yeah. And then you went traveling. In your traveling experiences, what are some of the lessons that you learned?
My traveling really taught me to be the person that I am today. It was hard, but hard was good.
Yeah. What was hard about it? You're traveling.
Well, I was traveling, but I was working. I remember one specific experience where I was in New York, where in New York you either eat or you get eaten. And I was actually doing a film premiere for a film director, and I was arranging the whole screening. I was in PR, and I was carrying these flyers. I had just learned the subway system, and I got lost, and I was going to Broadway downtown, and Broadway uptown goes one direction, and downtown it's all wonky. And I was carrying these flyers, and my arm was nearly breaking, and I was getting lost, going to the New York Film Academy, and this one vendor said to me, I was asking for directions, and he said, "No, you have to go this way," and then he changed his mind, "That way," and I started screaming at him, and he slammed the door in my face, and I started crying. And I realized that song, "If you can make it there, you'll make it anywhere." And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, this is good. I'm growing. And that was actually a highlight for me, because I realized that I needed to grow, and this experience will make me grow.
Yeah. Now this office is peppered with memories. Let's go look at some of those memories, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's start with the main family photo there. Good times, huh?
Very good times. That was honestly one of the happiest moments we've ever had.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was at the restaurant at the one and only Gordon Ramsay's Maze. We had the most decadent dinner, and we were all fat and happy. And it was just a very, very great night.
Yeah. Now you met many people over the years.
Yes.
Let's start with Larry King here.
He was in town. He met the family, and yeah, he was filming, and we just met him. He was a very interesting guy, very charismatic.
Oh, was he? Yeah. What were some of the conversations that happened?
Well, he was mostly talking about himself. But
like all good TV people?
He was very interested in the property business here, and the properties that we had. We showed him one or two.
Yeah.
And telling us about his show, and he had just remarried, and he was having his little baby, and just a very interesting, charismatic fellow.
Yeah. So every time you go out and market the company, do you say things like, well, you know, we tried to sell a property to Larry King?
We name drop when it's necessary, but with the brand you don't need to, because most people know that with Sotheby's International Realty brand you have sold to most of the celebrity clients.
Okay. Susie Ormond, what was that like?
Susie Ormond, I didn't meet her personally, but my mother and father did, and they said she was just a ball of fire, just so motivating, so inspirational, just so dynamic with so much energy. And she actually did buy development in Northcliffe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So exactly like she's on TV Dynamic.
Oh yes, just a ball of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this graduation, that must have been quite a day.
That was quite
Proud
a day.
dad.
It was, yeah, it was quite a day. I think the graduation is more for the parents than the...
You're just glad you made it.
Yeah, you're just glad you made it, you know, you're happy. But his smile was wider than mine, as you can see.
Yeah.
So... And that was actually this day as well.
Oh, with the cigar
Yeah,
thing,
that's
okay.
when we had relaxed and we
This
were
is your
at dinner.
grandfather?
That's my grandfather. And he had actually stopped smoking cigars probably 20 years back because he had to. He had a severe heart condition. But he was such an amazing man. And on my graduation day, he said, "Come, let's light up." And he brought 2 cigars for the occasion. And this is one of my favorite photos. And that's why I have it framed. And he said, "Let's light up." And we lit up. And it's one of the most special memories I'll ever have of him.
Yeah. Well, earlier you were telling me that he's the glue of the family.
He was the glue of the family. He was the mediator whenever there was a fight. We'd go and sleep at Abba's house. And he actually had his own office here.
Okay.
He didn't do much, but he had his own office, and all the agents would come speak to him when they had a problem. He was the philosopher, the psychologist in the office. He also spent many a moment here in my dad's office, and a very family-run business. So he
Larger than life character.
larger than life, so naughty, so naughty.
You shouldn't say that now.
But just an amazing, amazing man. Was the family glue.
Yeah.
Abba, yeah.
I love this photo, Dad and his girls there.
Yes, I am Daddy's little girl. That's for sure. And people say we have one face.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And we also both have very naughty eyes. So we must get it from Abba.
So when you look at all these photos, what comes to your mind when you look at them? For us, it's new because we're interested in the story behind every photo. But when you look at it, what comes to mind?
Just love and heritage. You know, the legacy that goes on.
Yael, thank you so much for chatting to us.
Thank you, Fenley.
Well, that's a wrap from me. Do join me next week for another episode of Women in Business. From me, Fenley Fox and the team here, that's goodbye.